Hello and welcome to WashingtonExec's video series. I'm senior reporter Rachel Kirkland, and I have the pleasure of introducing Tahera Zamanzada, who is the new Vice President of Digital Transformation for ICF. Tahera consults on challenges surrounding digital transformation, cloud adoption, and technology modernization, and she's done a lot of work around helping women be successful in STEM careers. So Tahera, thank you for joining me today and coming on to talk about your new role.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you've spent the last 15 years focused on helping both private organizations and federal agencies adapt as the digital landscape continues to change. Tell me a little bit about your background and how you came to be in your current role here at ICF.
Sure, yeah. So I have over 15 years of experience in the consulting space for organizations like nonprofit agencies and federal agencies, really helping them navigate this rapidly evolving digital landscape. And I've also had the pleasure of working in cutting edge companies like ServiceNow and Salesforce as well, which really has helped me bring the best of Silicon Valley to Washington, D.C., and vice versa, providing that internal thought leadership back to tech companies about what public sector really needs from software companies. And so with all this, I've been fortunate enough to develop a deep understanding of how agencies can buck the status quo in their approach to digital transformation and how doing so can really drive higher levels of success and satisfaction. And I do have an expertise in challenges related to cloud adoption. And so really kind of working as a trusted advisor with C-suite federal executives on how to really turn headwinds into tailwinds. That's really key. And a critical component within agency offerings that really lead to happy end users, right? That's the goal of all this, is really trying to provide customer satisfaction. And so my role at ICF now will be focusing on offering agencies those technologies, the strategies that come with it, and the capabilities to both optimize those user experiences and then tackle today's biggest IT modernization challenges.
Okay, and you've spoken before about the need to really go beyond the technology and approach digital transformation from this holistic, empathy first kind of approach. What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, so, the work that we do always revolves around a core focus of engineering solutions for customers. And that means identifying and solving pain points, digitizing government processes by borrowing from things that really do work in the consumer world. But holistic really refers to a vision for a modern federal government that's secure, seamlessly interconnected, organized around the customer most importantly. And the way agencies can do that is to think about how can we really empathize and understand what our customer needs? How do we build that intuitive solution? So we get away from being reactive and we can get toward being proactive. And at some point, using the AI and machine learning capabilities that are out there, become prescriptive. And so that's kind of like the way we want to move forward, is really with that empathy first, tailoring government services to the needs of each user who logs into the agency site. And then, of course, maintaining a focus on that end user experience.
Can I throw in another question? Do you have a use case that you would like to highlight?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime, anything we do in the weekends, for example, we really are so spoiled in the sense that if I'm logging into Amazon.com, right, I might be ordering from 5 different vendors. But for me as a consumer, I have no idea, because it gets to my doorstep in 2 days. Whatever needs to be done, all that magic handshaking on the background, it gets done, and that's great. And so how do we take that same experience and bring it to public sector? So for example, at IRS, if we want to do our taxes and if we have a bunch of questions, it should be such a seamless, intuitive way to do it, so that really it's almost, like I said, prescriptive, and the agency knows exactly what the customer's already probably looking for. And so those types of behaviors that we have in our day-to-day and our weekend lives should completely be copied within the public sector.
Absolutely. Now, another area you've talked about being important to you is upskilling the workforce. So organizations are able to be successful in their digital transformations. So what steps can leaders take to upskill their workforces?
Yeah, that is definitely a huge thing. That is a topic of conversation that comes up a lot. And really what it is, there was an ICF report that found that 73% of surveyed federal employees think that their agency lacks a clear vision for digital modernization, while 98% said that they have concerns about agencies' ability to execute. And so typically what ends up happening is if we're confused and we don't know what's coming down the pipeline and we're not transparent with the employees, the federal employees, how can we ensure that these guys are going to be upskilled, that they're going to be reskilled where it makes sense? How do we get them excited? And so in order to do that, I think it's important to provide them the resources that are just available, right? There's so much research out there that's been done around getting employees excited about different types of cloud and how to go about that. And really what it is it's just tailoring training courses that are going to be hybrid. So whether they're in classroom training courses, whether we're doing it, all together online now, which is a really big thing, we should provide the space for them to do that within their work week so they don't have to feel like it's an additional burden that they have to take on. It should just be naturally a part of the HR process to become upskilled and reskilled when you feel like it.
Excellent. Now, what areas are you and your team at ICF focusing on for the next several months?
So consulting on program implementation, scaled agile delivery of digital transformation initiatives is going to be top of mind. Supporting portfolio growth, definitely empowering our clients to improve their business processes, to think a little bit more outside the box and take a human-centered design approach to it, right? Always lead with empathy first. And then also, of course, just figure out creative ways where we can do the research we need to do to meet the increased demand of today's digital age.
Absolutely. Well, Tahera, thank you again for joining me.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.